been exploring this in our book. How many minutes do I have? 2? Okay. We've been exploring this in our book, Just Growth. We actually, I think, brought about 22 copies for VIPs, but if you think you're kind of a special person too, you can persuade the HDC to buy you a copy. It'd be a really solid investment. It's a really good book. It's, for those of you who don't read, it's about to be made into a major motion picture. We just came from Los Angeles where we negotiated the movie rights. It was very exciting. I was going to be portrayed by Antonio Banderas. Turns out it's George Lopez, but still it's kind of a big deal. So what we've been doing is we've been, with support from the Ford Foundation and now from the Institute for New Economics, New Economic Thinking, a Soros-funded group, looking at places where equity and growth come together. And what we found, which was kind of interesting, was there were really important statistical factors, but the other thing that was really important was whether or not there was a vehicle for people to connect with one another so they could realize each other's common fate. We came up with a fancy term for it, epistemic community, basically what you know and who you know it with. And then after we finished the book, we realized there was a simpler message. Knowing together is growing together. That is, bringing communities into discussion with one another, making sure people are on the same page with regard to data, creating the leadership programs that let people lead in each other's communities, making sure that we have a common sense of the region can really make a difference. And we're seeing this make a difference all over the country. I want to give you an example from San Antonio, and then I'll close. I don't know how many of you know that a year ago, the voters in San Antonio voted for a sales tax increase to fund pre-K education for disadvantaged kids. Remarkable because it's targeted at disadvantaged kids, so in large part that's not the voters' kids. Remarkable also because while it was supported by the mayor, which you might have expected, Julian Castro, while it was supported by community groups, which you might have expected, it was also supported by the Chamber of Commerce, which saw it as being a key investment in generating a workforce that they might need 20 years from now. And they were able to make that argument that they would do that because they thought about their roots in the region, they thought about having a reasonable strategy to move forward, and they'd taken the time to build relationships across difference so that they would be able to move forward policies like this. So in leading forward, I think it's very important to think about the concrete policies that you're going to work on. How are you going to get affordable housing going? I spent a good bit of this morning traveling around looking at some great projects that are going on and asking all the nerdy questions about layered financing, right? And how do you put in place the zoning regs, et cetera, to do what you need to do? But in some ways, we actually know what we need to do. We're just not willing to do it. And we're not willing to do it because we're not connecting with one another across race, space, and generation. And unless we actually create that broader civic conversation that helps people realize that we're all in this together, we will be all in this apart. And when I think of that, what I realize is that we need a new kind of leadership, and this is where I will actually close. So, when I think of the leadership we need moving forward, I'm reminded of a program I used to run in Santa Cruz, California, called the Summer Institute Social Change Across Borders. And it was a program that brought together activists from Latin America with activists from Latino communities in the United States to talk about transnational organizing. This was about 15 years ago before it got very popular. And at the end of one of those meetings, there was an organizer from Sinaloa, Mexico, of farm workers, campesinos who said, there's only two kinds of leaders in this world. Leaders who like the game of chess and leaders who like the jigsaw puzzle. And like you, we were looking at him going, what the hell do you mean? And what Victor Quintana, this organizer, said was, well, in chess, there's only two colors, usually black and white. In the jigsaw puzzle, there are many different colors, and sometimes a single piece is multi-hued. In chess, some pieces are far more powerful than others. You are really bummed out when you lose your queen, particularly to a pawn. In the jigsaw puzzle, every piece is important, because if you get to the end and something is missing, you blame your children. In chess, you literally get ahead by knocking somebody down and off their territory. You gentrify them. In the jigsaw puzzle, you make progress by fitting the pieces together so seamlessly that you don't know where one ends and another begins. In chess, the object is to win. In the jigsaw puzzle, the object is to complete the tapestry. And we have been playing way too much chess and not enough jigsaw puzzle. We've been dividing city against suburb, community against community, instead of realizing that we have a common metropolitan fate, and beyond that, we have a common national fate. And the work is about building housing, and it's about knowing what TOD is, and it's about knowing what layered finance is, but it's about having a broader vision of what a community can be, should be, for the next America. Thank you.